I can still hear the final boarding call. Her voice was somewhere behind me, sharp, impatient. "Figure it out," she said. And then she walked away, rolling her designer luggage, holding his hand, laughing like the world owed her another chance at happiness. I was 15, standing at JFK with a crumpled boarding pass, no wallet, and the taste of disbelief in my mouth. She didn't look back. Not once. I waited until her perfume faded into the crowd before I allowed myself to breathe. The woman who taught me to always stick together just left me behind like unwanted luggage. Her new husband smiled at the gate. His sons were already boarding, business class. She didn't even flinch. That was the day I stopped calling her mom. It wasn't always like that. There was a time she braided my hair before school, kissed my forehead, and said we were a team. We had our own code, you and me, against the world. But the world changed when she met Daniel. He was older, polished, the kind of man who never looked anyone directly in the eye unless they had something he wanted. And what he wanted was her. At first she resisted, said he was just a business contact. Then he started sending flowers. Dinners followed, weekend trips. I watched her reflection change. Her laugh became softer, her clothes more expensive, her attention divided. The first time I caught her lying, I didn't say a word. The second time, she asked me not to tell my father. The third time, she didn't bother asking. When she left him, my father, she said it was for peace. Funny how peace looked a lot like a penthouse and a diamond bracelet. I didn't tell anyone what happened at the airport. Didn't cry, didn't scream. I walked out into the city night, dragging my small suitcase like an anchor. The streets of New York were loud, cruel, alive. But I remembered one number, one name she'd forbidden me to ever call. My father. He picked up on the second ring. I didn't even have to explain. He just said, "Stay where you are." 40 minutes later, a private jet was waiting. The man I hadn't seen in years stepped out, wearing the same expression I remembered from my childhood. Calm, unreadable, dangerous in its silence. He looked at me, then past me, like he already knew everything. "Get in," he said, and I did. People think revenge is loud. It's not. It's quiet, precise. It waits until the air is still, until the world stops watching. For 2 years I said nothing. My father never asked what happened that night. He didn't need to. He taught me what silence can do, how it unnerves people, how it makes them confess more than any question ever could. By 17, I'd learned more about control, money, and power than most adults do in a lifetime. I studied her, from a distance. Her social posts, her charity events. The image of a doting stepmother, a philanthropist, a woman reborn. But behind the curated photos was debt. A trail of unpaid taxes, offshore transfers, and hush payments Daniel didn't know about. She wasn't just careless, she was greedy. And greed always leaves fingerprints. The plan took months. I waited until Daniel's company announced a merger, something big enough to draw media attention. Then I sent a copy of her financials to the IRS, using her own foundation's letterhead, anonymously, of course. Next, I reached out to a journalist. A small leak. Exclusive documents revealed discrepancies in the charity's fund allocations. She denied it, of course, posted statements, smiled through interviews. But when the investigation widened, the walls started to close in. Then came the letter. I sent it to her personally. No threats, no accusations, just a single sentence in my handwriting. "You told me to figure it out." And a photo of the two of us, taken when I was 8. The last time she'd ever looked at me like I mattered. She called me that night. Her voice trembled, soft, unsure, stripped of confidence. "Where are you?" she asked. "Please, I just need to talk." I let her talk. About how everything was a misunderstanding, how she'd made mistakes, how she missed me. She cried, loud, desperate tears. But I could hear it, underneath, guilt, not love. Fear, not remorse. When she finally ran out of words, I said, "You left me at an airport, remember?" Silence. Then, a whisper. "I didn't mean to." "You did," I said. "And I did what you asked. I figured it out." Then I hung up. When she returned from Europe weeks later, the penthouse was gone. Frozen assets. Daniel had filed for divorce, fraudulent misrepresentation. Her foundation? Dissolved. And in her old home, my old room, there was nothing left except a notice taped to the wall: unauthorized occupancy, property seized. She stood there for hours, neighbors said, just staring at the paper. I didn't watch her fall apart. Didn't need to. Some things don't deserve an audience. Now, when people ask if I've forgiven her, I smile. Forgiveness is too merciful for someone who abandoned a child to chase status. I didn't ruin her life. I just handed her the truth, and she destroyed herself with it. Sometimes, late at night, I replay that moment at JFK, her voice echoing behind me. Figure it out. And I did, better than she ever imagined.